Hello, everybody. My name is Roy Nemmer. I'm Mundo Albiceleste.com. I barely survived that quarterfinal match, and I'm joined by two lovely people who barely survived the quarterfinal match for Argentina. The barely living legend himself, Sebastian Garcia, and
Oh
the
my
boy wonder
God.
himself,
And
Osvaldo.
you're not exaggerating.
We died. I think we did very, very bad, and we got the boy wonder himself, Osvaldo. Osvaldo, did you barely survive, or you're cool? You knew we were going to win.
No, I barely survived. It was all suffering, all suffering. As I learned, it's gonna be, and it was during all this World Cup. It's gonna be all suffering. So let's get used to it.
Well, I think we have to get used to it. And one thing we are used to in these live chats when we first start, it's everybody. It's a little, tell us where you're from. Where are you from right now? We have three people in three different countries right now. I'm based in Canada. Seba is in Argentina, and Osvaldo in the United States. So everybody, let us know where you're from. There you go. We're starting off already, all the way from Malta. There you are, Malta, Bangladesh, India, the United Kingdom, Lebanon, India, Hong Kong, Dallas, Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Wow, all the way West Coast, Amsterdam. All right, there you are. We got someone from Amsterdam. South Africa, Singapore, Dallas, Texas. Jesus, we're absolutely everywhere, everywhere. London, from the Bay Area in California. So we can do this all night. Switzerland, San Diego. Ooh, we got one all the way from Brazil. Brazil. Not a good not a good day if you're a Brazil fan, and all the way from Hamilton, Ontario as well. So let us know, everybody, where you're watching. I see Haiti as well. There's one. I have Tennessee, New Zealand, uh, Maldives. It never ends. It never ends. We're truly. This is worldwide. This is worldwide, everybody. Portland, Oregon, in the United States, and let's. We'll I mean, we have one from Dublin, from Lisbon as well. So from Portugal. Wow. Saudi Arabia. This is incredible, incredible. Uh, and we have one from Germany. There you go. So Germany as well. So let's get to it. I don't even have a train of thought right now. I'm still recovering. I'm just like everybody else here. I don't know what just happened. I don't know what we just watched. I think we watched something that took years off of our lives. I'll throw it to, let's start off with Osvaldo first, and I'll get to Seba and everybody else in the chat. Let me know as well. Osvaldo, how did you live, or how did you survive this match? What went through your mind and everything that happened?
Yeah, I went to every single state uh, during the match. Honestly, I had a lot of philosophical questions in the middle of the game because I was just going crazy because the match made me go crazy. I remember saying things I right now regret as insults to the referees and to a lot of people. But I guess I'm excused because it was a game that was kind of like that, really really crazy. Um, and yeah, I watch it with a couple of friends that I watched it the last couple of matches. And we were all crazy. I was telling you, Roy, that usually I watch it today. I watch it with my dad. He's not a big soccer fan. He's not a big soccer fan. But today was the first time I saw him cry during a soccer match. It was incredible. It was already 10 minutes after the match, and he was crying and crying as we were all there. So it was amazing.
Wow. Wow, it got everybody to tears. It really got everybody to tears. And Seba, how did you
Yeah,
survive this?
I was the most composed here at home, but my two
Okay.
boys were crying all the way through the extra time till the penalties. With every single penalty, they were crying more and more profusely, and to me, it was beautiful to see the emotions that they have, the love they feel for the shirt, which is the same as we see from the players. That's why I think there is such a big connection with this national team and the people and the long suffering Argentina fans everywhere in the world. But to me, I kept my composure. Of course, I'm old. I remember when we played the Netherlands in 2014. We also beat them on penalties, and I remember by the the second half of extra time, I had a cramp. I actually, literally I had to fall. I had to drop to the floor, stretch my leg because it was hurting. It was really, really bad. Now I'm 8 years older than that, and the cramp I had it before the game even started, so I had to take it easy. I knew I was risking pretty much like the ball,
Yeah.
but it was all about the emotions. Today, it was all about the emotions. That's what we're gonna remember. No matter what happens next, that's what we will remember from tonight. The emotions, how the little ones had to endure this, how to they suffer, they and now they know they have a connection with this team that it's for life.
Yeah, no, it really is, and I mean, I didn't get a cramp, although I felt like I was getting something here in the chest area during during the match. I was, it's we're gonna talk about the goals and everything in a second, but when the Netherlands goal, the second goal went in, I didn't know what to feel. I was numb. I didn't know what to feel, and then second half, extra time. That's kind of I woke back up. I was gone. I was out of it for about 20 minutes or so. We have a lot to discuss. We have the players. I see a lot of people in the chat asking what's going on with the yellow cards. If I'm not mistaken, it's just Acuna. Well, just Acuna. It's Acuna and Montiel, I think, that are suspended for the semifinal against Croatia.
Yeah.
But talking about the game itself, was this the kind of game you were expecting, Seba? Or did you expect a completely different kind of game?
No, I was expecting Scaloni to play like a mirror tactic to Van Gaal, uh, try the three center backs, which is not necessarily a defensive setup, because I
Mhm.
think it gives you a lot of liberty. It gives the midfield, especially the one that's playing a deeper role. In this case, it was Enzo Fernandez. I think that setup gives that player in that position a, a better surrounding and um, a lot less pressure, so to speak.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean that you're playing five at the back, you're playing negative or stuff like that. It helps you adapt to every situation during the game. In fact, we never changed it up until the last few minutes when Di Maria was introduced, but we played that same formation. But what we changed, and that's last week we were talking about, hey guys, you talk about the negatives. There's no negatives from you after we beat Australia. Today, I think there are some
Yeah.
negatives, and I don't wanna talk a lot about the negatives, but the way that we imploded when we were 2-0 up with 20 minutes to go. I didn't like that. There was a lot of football to be played. It wasn't just 20 minutes because the referee added another 10, which I don't know where he got that from. But to me, that's the worrying aspect of tonight. The way that we imploded, the way that we said, okay, we're not going to play anymore. We give you the ball. We're safe with the two goal caution, and it wasn't the case. So I hope there is a lesson learned from there because the same thing happened against Australia. We
Yeah.
needed a save by Dibu at the end. This time we needed to go all the way to the penalties, and that's not healthy. That's very very risky. And a team like Holland the Netherlands can punish you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Me personally, I was kind of surprised with the five defenders formation. I know Scaloni has been playing with that maybe, but not hasn't been starting with that formation. I think it was probably one of the first times, and it was I didn't expect that in the quarterfinals against the Netherlands. I think we expected Argentina to have the ball most of the times as we had. I also think that this formation with five defenders, we play overall. We play well. Of course, we also, I mean, until the minute 80 when the Netherlands start having the possession of the ball, we went back and they scored those two goals. But until that moment, I think the Scaloni was doing good by choosing that formation. Um, and yeah, I agree with with you, Seba, that Argentina was I think overall was better than the Netherlands. Yeah, in those couple of minutes, um, we had those mistakes. Then, yeah, of course, we find some mistakes of the referee, which they were, and maybe we're gonna analyze a little bit of that. But I don't like how we responded in those last couple of minutes of the second half.
Yeah, no, it's sorry. Go ahead, Seba.
No, I was just gonna add that um, end of the day, I still feel that we should have won in the 90s, in the 90 minutes. We should have won in extra time as well. We won on penalties, and that was fair and square. But um, it wasn't like the Netherlands deserved to take anything else from this game. I felt that we were the better team across the board. It was just that the game lasted a lot longer than we needed it to to last. They played that it takes a lot of nerve to play a ball like that. And of course, you will all remember the first thing that crossed my mind was Pupi Zanetti's goal in '98 against England. It was exactly like that. It was like couple of our players standing next to the wall and then receiving the ball, turning it around and hitting it. Um, Pupi Zanetti was a clean strike. This one was a bit dirty, um, and he took a deflection or something like that. But it was like my mind went straight to 1998, and I said, okay, we were beat at our own game, and of course, at that moment you feel okay. Now we're gonna collapse. Now we're gonna collapse and die, and that's it. We're gonna lose on extra time, and that is one of the bigger positives from tonight. The way we bounce back to play the last 30 minutes, and how we should have scored a couple goals before getting to the penalties. So I'm taking that positive in terms of how we managed to absorb those two massive blows to our heads and still grab the game by the horns and go for it. We should have scored. We Van Dijk saved one with his chest.
Lautaro, yeah.
I don't know if this one is the
That is a
2014. I don't
2014. Yeah,
know.
that's 2014. That's
Yeah?
2014. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, fitting. Um, and yeah, I think it's one of the bigger positives that I take from this game, the way that we rebounded from from a couple of blows that could destroy any team.
Absolutely. No, I fully agree with with both of you, with Osvaldo and you, Seba. And Seba, something that you mentioned was that free kick, for example. It's funny that you mentioned it, because when the Netherlands had that earlier free kick, because they had a free kick maybe around 10 minutes before they scored, I thought they were going to do the Zanetti goal then. And when they didn't, I'm like, okay. So when they got that final free kick in the 110th minute, I really thought he was just going to go for it, and then caught us by surprise. But there was a comment that I brought up a couple of moments ago that said the defeat against Saudi Arabia made sure that this team did not collapse today. And we spoke about that loss against Saudi Arabia, the opening game. We've spoken about it before. That added strength, that added character to this team. I saw a lot of it, especially in extra time. It was very easy, as you mentioned, Seba, to just kind of to implode, because the team did implode, but they still had that character. They still had that mental strength to keep going, right? And we're going to talk about penalties in a second, because there were some penalty kick takers there that were very, in my opinion, it was very surprising to see. And I mean, like I said, we're going to talk about it in a bit. But I think the referee didn't help as well. I think there were maybe some negative aspects. I don't think Scaloni got the substitutes right, maybe 100%. There you go. So it was Funky Buddha who mentioned that about the loss against Saudi Arabia. But there was a comment as well. I think this was a game of two halves, but the two halves, for the first half was from minute 1 up until about minute 75, and then the second half was 75 to 120. And I'll go back to you, Osvaldo. Looking at this match in particular, do you think there was a turning point or a mistake that we made that allowed the Netherlands back into the game, or do you think it was just constant pressure by the Netherlands and just Argentina continuing to drop back?
Yeah, I don't think the Netherlands did so much, honestly, to get those 2 goals. In terms that they just got a couple of chances, they did it well. Of course, they had their merit in that. But yeah, I think Argentina went too much back, and maybe Dibu Martinez in that first goal could have done something more. But of course, then in the penalties, he was an absolute beast. But I don't think there was much merit of the Netherlands in those 2 goals. I think Argentina, that is one of the negatives of Argentina. Why did they go back? And again, it reminds me to other games, for example, Saudi Arabia, for example, Australia, when the other team was not doing that much, and they get one shot to go, and they score. So maybe they were just lucky too. We should also say that.
Yeah, I think there was definitely some luck in there. One thing that there was no luck involved, and we're going to get to it because I see a comment here, is the first goal. And we may as well talk about the goals, right? And Seba, I see you smiling. First goal, your thoughts?
No, I mean I'm already tired of talking about this guy. We all say all the common places. Yeah, we've been talking. He's from another planet, but I don't know. He's built in a different way because there's no way a human head. I mean, a human head is designed in a certain way, right? So you can probably see stuff that it's within this range of vision. So I don't know how Messi saw Molina. It was a sea of orange. There's a video from the tactical camera which is set behind one of the goals from high above. It's a beautiful, not to watch the entire game, but it's a beautiful camera to see some movement. And if you see it again, if you look for that video and you see it, it's all over social media. You will see that when he gets the ball, first he's pretending like he's not there, like we've seen so many times. He steps back. He gets the ball. I think it was Alexis McAllister who finds him. He gets the ball, and he goes like little movement like this. And with that little movement, he sent Nathan Ake like half a yard.
To the wrong side.
He has to adjust to that movement. So Messi wins a little space, and that's all the room he needs. And then he plays the pass. If you can show the pictures, there's a picture. Look how the ball goes through Nathan Ake's legs and goes straight to Molina. It was a perfect. I mean, in a way, it was similar to the Netherlands' second goal in terms of how surprising that pass was, how incisive it was, and how he gave an advantage to the player receiving it. But what Molina did was also very impressive because he controls it at top speed, and then he finishes with the outside of his foot, and at the same time he's having to withstand a very, very tough tackle. I think it could have been a penalty. I think it could have been a penalty if it wasn't because he scored. So there's no point signaling a penalty or anything like that. But that pass, I think I'm gonna spend several years trying to understand what he did. I mean, it's beyond comprehension.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, I agree. The pass was incredible with the precision that it was required. The speed of the pass, it was just insane. And I would also like to say that, as you said, Molina finished it very well, and Molina did that job of going all the time, the whole match, and I think it was amazing.
Yeah, and sometimes we forget about we forget about Molina. We just think, oh well, the fullback, someone like Acuna, someone like Molina, they're there to defend. But Molina, I think it was last season, finished as the defender with the most goals in the top 5 leagues. I think he had 7 or 8 goals, the most out of any defender in the league, in any of the top 5 leagues. So he knows how to score, and that wasn't an easy finish. Messi's pass was I mean, we could stay here for hours and not even be able to to describe it. But the way Molina received the ball, he dragged it with his left foot, dragged it towards him, and that little toe poke, wow. And he had Van Dijk on him. Van Dijk was right behind him, and that wasn't easy. And that kind of, I think that calmed Argentina down a little bit. I don't think the Netherlands really pushed too much after that in the first half. We had, Alvarez was pressing a lot, Messi was pressing a little bit, not too many chances created. But then we got to the second half, and while Molina scored the first goal, we had the other fullback, which is your boy, Seba, Marcos Acuna, drawing the penalty.
Yeah,
Clear cut.
I think he's everybody's. I think he's everybody's boy now. I mean, there's no other way to look at it. And there's a bit of a statistic with him, which is a bit worrying because, as you know, talking about negatives, he's gonna miss the semifinals. Montiel is gonna miss the semifinals as well. Acuna, he had to go with a lot of energy to try and win that ball back. He was unlucky to get a yellow card. I think the referee was too quick to show it. Montiel, on the other hand, it was a bit stupid because he earned the yellow card for talking to the referee. So you could avoid, you could avoid those kind of things, knowing that you're only one yellow card away from losing out of the semifinals. But before I get to what Acuna did for the penalty, here's the stat. This World Cup, when Acuna was the starting left back, we played 4, we won 4. Tonight, when he was on the pitch, the result was 2-0. He got substituted, and the result for those remaining minutes was 2-0, but for the Netherlands. And against Australia, we played 78 minutes with him, and the result was 2-0 again. We replaced him, and we lost those final minutes. So 12 minutes without him, Australia scored 1 goal. We scored no goals. So that speaks a lot about how important Acuna is. And this is not bashing Tagliafico. I like Tagliafico, but it's gonna be a massive loss not to have Acuna for the semifinals. I think it's gonna be so important that I think the formation is gonna have to change. We're not gonna see. I don't think we're gonna see the 3 at the back with the 2 fullbacks going forward. We may have to switch to a 4-man defense. We will see. There's still a long way to go. But what he does to win the penalty, I mean, I've so many times. The way he cuts inside, it would have been very, very dangerous if the Netherlands player didn't foul him. But it was good. It was a very, very well earned penalty, and it was so relieving to see Messi this time not missing that penalty. That was amazing. That was great to see.
Yeah. Osvaldo, go ahead.
Yeah, it was. I agree. Very smart at penalty. As you said, I don't think there was like a big chance, but he was smart enough to generate that infraction. Yeah, and I would also like to mark the 2 fullbacks. I think for me in this game, there were a lot of players that did really well in different areas of the field, but the fullbacks today playing very, very high in the field. I think it was the best performances we had today. I don't know if you agree, guys.
No, I agree. Even without the penalty which Acuna drew, I just think his overall play, his run, his tackles, his physicality was very much needed. And we saw, I mean, Seba kind of alluded to it and hinted towards it a couple of moments ago. We saw that difference when Acuna came off. Tagliafico, they consistently went down Tagliafico's flank once he came on, even though he was fresh or more fresh than some of the other players. I thought our fullbacks, I thought Acuna and Molina. Molina was still going strong even in extra time. So I thought both of them were great. I thought the entire back line, the starters anyways, were very reliable. I thought Otamendi was just a monster. Romero and it was beautiful to see. It was beautiful to see because honestly speaking, aside from when we kind of sat back, and I guess we may as well talk about the Dutch goals now, but aside from maybe the last 10 or 15 minutes when Argentina sat back, I was fairly comfortable or fairly confident with any attack that was coming our way just because I thought we were doing very well. But once that first goal went in, I got a little bit nervous. I don't know about you, Seba, but I was a little bit nervous after that first Dutch goal.
Yeah, yeah, of course. We staying with Acuna, but not just to talk about him,
Yeah.
but when he got substituted, only 5 minutes later, there was a cross coming exactly from the area where he normally plays,
Mhm.
and he didn't allow any single cross um, in those almost 80 minutes that he played today. But at the same time, Cuti Romero was replaced. I thought Cuti Romero was immense today. And the player replacing him, Petzela, he was very, very shaky today.
He was nervous.
He was at fault. Yeah, he was at fault for that silly foul that ended in the Netherlands equalizing. He shouldn't have fouled that player with his back against the goal. Um, so he got a bit shaky, and as I said earlier, we kind of gave the Netherlands the initiative when
Mhm.
those two substitutes were made. Um, and I repeat, I hope we learn from this because we've been doing it so many times, even in Copa America, when we take some a bit of an advantage, we score a couple goals, and then we said, okay, that's it. We're gonna rest a little bit. We're gonna wait. We're gonna close the game, but we need to do better. In my opinion, I would have liked to see us playing the ball a lot more, like we know we can do. We have the players to do it. We should be doing that. We should be killing the games really away from Dibu Martinez. We should be more in control of those situations. I hope we learn from this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just exactly as Paro Miguel just said. Yeah.
I think that change of fullbacks is one of Scaloni's favorites. He does that change a lot during the matches. He usually takes out Molina and puts Montiel and out Acuna and Tagliafico. So maybe he should think of maybe just changing one instead of both. Um, about Pesela, I also think he was probably the player that didn't enter well in Argentina. I think that most of the times, more at the very end, the Netherlands were throwing long balls to the forwards that were very tall, and there Pesela was losing many and many times. Um, but in general, the center backs were good, as you were saying. Licha Martinez played insane. Otamendi played very well. Cuti Romero also played well. So in general, of course, we were winning 2-0. Then it was 2-2. There were a couple of mistakes that we should pay attention of. Uh, but I like the defense of Argentina in general today.
Yeah, I thought the starters were good, and I know for those listening, for those watching, and they might think, well, maybe we're being a little bit too harsh on Pesela. And all things considered, it's not easy, right? Pesela's been a substitute. I think this is the second time he plays at this World Cup. Comes on as a substitute, quarterfinals, 2-0 lead. It's not easy, but you would certainly expect him to do better than he did. I think he was brought in as well because of his height. I mean, he's not short. He's one of the taller center backs as well, and to deal with the Dutch crosses, and he didn't do well. Not on the first goal because he was left the player unmarked, and the second goal, the foul, and it was nervous. I think he was nervous. I think the start of the start of extra time, we saw Otamendi passing him the ball a couple of times, maybe to shake those nerves away and maybe get his confidence going. There's a comment here from Alex Santos, and I guess we may as well address it before we get a little bit further. The referee, a lot of yellow cards. We're going to talk about Messi's mini rant afterwards. Osvaldo, how did you find the referee? And then I'll
Yeah,
get to say about
he did a good job. I kind of agree with what Messi said after the game, that all of the small ones most of the times went to the Netherlands. Uh, Sometimes, for some moments, he was just a yellow card to everyone. But then in the end, like in the second half of the extra time, I think the Netherlands were doing so many faults that there should be maybe a couple of yellow cards for the Netherlands player. I didn't like him. I don't like the way he acts as a referee. But well, that's, I guess it's every ref has his style.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
Stefan, what did you think of Mateo Laos?
Yeah, no, yeah, the players were furious, and I agree. I mean, first of all, 10 minutes added, I think there's no way to justify that. There's no way he can justify that. Um, but then he was quick to show yellow cards, but he wasn't too quick to show Timber the second yellow card that he deserved. The moment that Paredes near the end one committed a foul, and he kept playing and hit the ball very very hard towards the bench for
Yeah.
Netherlands, and then they empty the bench. It was like the baseball when they clear the dugouts. Well, they all went for it, and there were a couple of pushes, there were a couple of shovels, and he didn't do anything about it. He could have red carded a couple of players, especially Van Dijk. He didn't do it. He didn't have the bottle to do that, but he was really quick to show players, our players, yellow cards. He was quick to give a couple of silly fouls. I mean, very very soft fouls.
Yeah.
And I think he was one of the reasons why the game went to extra time and then penalties. And today, football was fair because the best team won. Um, but yeah, today I think it was. And today there was something very fishy and a bit suspicious that people were talking about before the games. Because if we count the Brazil Croatia game, he had an European referee,
Yes.
and then our game had a European referee. So, it's a referee from the same confederation. You shouldn't be doing such a thing like that. You have referees at the top level from every continent. You could have given this game to someone from CONCACAF, Africa, Asia. Um, but to do it, I mean, to have Argentina and Brazil both play against European opposition and with a referee that's European, I think that's not very very nice.
Yeah.
But as I said, I'm happy that the team was able to overcome those difficulties and win it. And I want to clarify because I saw a lot of comments as we were scrolling, and there's so many comments. I'm very happy to see, but there are a couple of doubts on
The
the
yellow
yellow
cards.
card and suspension regulations. So if a player carrying a yellow before this game was booked today, he would have been suspended. That's the case for Acuna and for Montiel. But now, players are not carrying the yellow cards that they got today. Like for example, Messi was booked, Otamendi. I don't know. He booked like the entire team. I don't
It was
even know how to
ridiculous.
count that many numbers. Yeah, but the rest assured, don't worry. If we play the semifinals, and we're lucky to go through. There's not going to be any suspension unless, of course, somebody gets a red card. But it's not like one of the players that has been booked today will miss the final if we go through with another yellow. So I hope that clears the air a little bit. But unfortunately, we have two missing players for Tuesday.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk a little bit about the penalty shootouts? And
Let's
here's
let's get to the maniac.
enters a psychopath enters the room. Yeah.
As I go back, I was telling Osvaldo before he went live, uh, as Martinez was walking towards the goal, they put the camera on him, and he was just looking at the fans in the arena, the stadium, and you saw his face just light up, and it was a different. You could tell he was growing in confidence, and it was the it was Martinez of the Copa America, saving Van Dijk and everything. let's get to the penalties. Let's get to the maniac, and let's get to the psychopath. And
Yeah.
let's get to the blood pressure that really just shot up. Seba, what what did you think?
Yeah. No, first of all, when they do the coin toss,
Yeah,
I felt like the referee let Van Dijk
take both.
call the shot twice.
Yeah,
Call the shot to choose the goal where the penalties were going to be taken, and then also um, he was the one calling the color for the coin to decide who starts. So advantage Netherlands twice in that sense. And there's one thing that I would like to mention, and then we can probably talk a little bit more about it. But and we will get to it because it's one of the tastiest things that I've seen from this game. Um, Van Gaal played a lot of mind games. He didn't even stop up until the very um, when we were very near the kickoff. There's a
yeah,
big sideline interview, and he said, "Oh yeah, I see that Scaloni is playing a 3-5-2. That means he's scared of the Netherlands, so he tries to do something to block us. But it's not easy to adapt to that tactic. We've been playing like that for ages, so we have an advantage there." He also said prior to the game two very important things. He said, "If we get to the penalties, we have the advantage. We've been training the whole year." That's what he said. I don't know. Maybe he didn't see the Copa America, and he doesn't know who Emiliano Martinez is. And then the other thing that he said, and I think he played a really big part in this game, he said that Messi doesn't play much when Argentina are not in possession.
yeah,
I feel everything that he said came back to haunt him. I really think that he lost the war of words, the mind games. Everything backfired on him. He was very close to get something out of this game, but today I think um, he spoke perhaps a little bit too much. And if you see Messi's reaction after the game, I feel it's a, say something like that. You know, Argentina play have a disadvantage because Messi doesn't run to win the ball back. All right, what can I say? Karma. I think
yeah.
karma played a part today.
Yeah.
And so back to the shootout. Van Dijk starts the penalty shootout, and I don't know. I want to ask everybody. Did you feel like there was a way for Van Dijk to score that penalty? Because I didn't. I don't know. I was confident. I don't know. Call me a psychopath like Dibu, but I was confident.
That's
Valid, go ahead.
Diego Martinez transmit. He's the kind of players, or in this case, goalkeeper, that with that atmosphere, he gets better, more motivated instead of shy. That's the kind of players we need, the kind of goalkeepers we need. Um, and and yeah,
Yeah, it's
insane.
no, it's well. This is another one, right? The youngest manager in the tournament got the better of the older one, or of the oldest one. I don't know. Going back to your question, Seba, in terms of Van Dijk scoring the penalty, I look. It was a good penalty. To be fair to Van Dijk, it was a good penalty, but he was up against a psychopath, and what a save! That was not an easy save. That was. It reminded me of Romero's save against Schneider in 2014, very
Yeah,
high, and he was at full stretch, and it wasn't easy. But once he saved that first one on the inside, I said, I just I needed Messi to score, because once Messi scored, in my head, I'm like, if Messi scores, this is it. We got this. And then the psychopath saved the second, and that was that team just kept
yeah,
getting better and better. And Messi, the pressure was on Messi. Obviously, it's Messi, and after what happened with Brazil, where Neymar didn't take a penalty, Neymar was waiting to take the fifth one, which could or would have been possibly the decisive one. Up stepped Messi again for the second time in the match. Went a different way. That's psychological. But then going back to the Dutch, they missed the first two, and I'm looking to see. I think it was who Was it Montiel that shot the second for Argentina? I'm trying to get it here.
No, it was Paredes.
Paredes, sorry. And what a penalty by Paredes.
Yeah.
I know you're a fan of his, Osvaldo, and sorry, go ahead, Seba.
No, Paredes, I trusted every one of our takers. I think we had very good penalty takers. Um, you mentioned Montiel. He hit the third one, and
Yes.
Montiel, it's a bit of an unknown, but he's a very, very good penalty taker. I have a friend, he supports River Plate. He knows him very well. Before the game, he said, these are my five penalty takers. I think I need to check back the list that he sent me, but I think he got the five in the exact same order. I think he's a genius. He loves tactics. He's very analytical, but he's also he also knows our players inside out. And he said Montiel is our best penalty taker. So if it wasn't for that comment from him before the game, he mentioned it like 2 days ago because he's been obsessed with this game, and he helped me relax because I in any other circumstances I would have been scared for Montiel taking a penalty there because he's not a high profile player. He's a defender, but he was very, very calm. Yeah, he was very calm.
Yeah, he did, and thank everybody as well. Everyone said Paredes took the second. Paredes, well, that was a great penalty, and Montiel the third. I had a feeling, and I'm gonna say this now, and you guys will not like this. And I told Osvaldo before we went on air. I had a feeling our last two would be Enzo and Lautaro. I thought Lautaro would go first, then Enzo. God forgive me, I doubted them because I had a feeling they would miss. And when Enzo missed his, and then I saw Lautaro coming up, I just went like this. And excuse the language, the balls on this guy to do what he did. 2 offside goals against Saudi Arabia. Then you get dropped out of the starting 11. Then you miss a pretty good chance against Australia. You're brought on as a substitute. And then you're taking the decisive penalty, which could send your country to the semifinals. And that was one of the better penalty kicks of that shootout. I know we kind of just lost Seba, but how confident were you, Osvaldo, when it came to penalties? I know we have Dibu, we have Martinez, but how confident were you and everybody else?
Yeah, it was kind of similar when they were about to to kick their first penalty. I was confident in Dibu, but of course he had to save it. And after he saved it, I was thinking of, okay, now Messi has to score.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, it was very good because we scored, they missed, we scored, they missed. But then at the very last penalty, when Lautaro Martinez has to score, I think, as you said, he had a lot of balls to take that penalty. For him was all or nothing because it was either he was the worst player of Argentina in this World Cup, or this that now I think in Argentina we say se sacó la mufa. He took out the mufa, the mufa in English.
The bad
jinx.
Luck, I guess. The jinx, the bad luck, yeah.
Okay.
So we get back, or we might get back, a very important player as Lautaro Martinez is. And I think today in the extra time he played well. He created a chance very well that he finally ended up shooting with his left. But I think we might have recovered or get back a good player as Lautaro Martinez.
Yeah, I think it's been a bit of an overreaction on Lautaro's World Cup. I think it's been a bit unfair, the treatment that he's getting with all the memes, but also he's being criticized by journalists, a lot of fans. I think it's not like he had shockers of a games. He had one miss against Australia that he probably should have control it and then finish it. And then he always he was always shooting on target. He could have scored 2 goals today. He didn't play that much today, and even in that situation, he created a couple of chances for himself. But I never doubted him. And the way he just put his foot across the ball and scored it. It was a very, very similar penalty to Paredes. I think both went in exactly at the same height, exactly on the same placing. There's no stopping those penalties. And I'm very happy to see him get that monkey off his back. And for people to start recognizing him, like people should, you know. It's not like he had, as I said, it's not like he's been horrible. It's just not been very lucky, and he didn't have a lot of chances. But redemption
No,
came, you could say.
yeah, no, and for me, it was just I'm very happy for him because of everything that has happened to him this World Cup. He has been unlucky. He hasn't, he scored the goals and offside and everything. I doubted him not because of his abilities. I just thought the like Osvaldo said, the jinx, the Mufa. That's what I was worried about. I thought like,
Yeah,
oh gosh, he's gonna hit the crossbar, he's gonna hit the post, something's gonna happen, it's gonna be a great penalty, but he's somehow gonna miss it. That's what I was worried about. I learned from the last Copa America never to doubt Lautaro. I know Seba never doubted Lautaro, even when he was at Racing. So that I get. And this was, there you go, this was perfect. A powerful penalty statement. It was, and that's going to give him a lot of
yeah,
confidence because, Julian is young and everything, and he's been running himself into the ground for this team since he started playing. But we're going to need Lautaro, against Croatia in the semifinals. It's not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination. We're going to need everybody to be sharp. It's going to be a different kind of game, I think, and having fully confident Lautaro, I think, is going to do wonders, just absolute wonders for this team. And the next thing I kind of want to talk about is where do you think, or well, not where do you think? I see a lot of comments in regarding Paredes and everything like that. We saw De Paul. We heard the rumors he wasn't maybe 100% fit, and I think 100% fit De Paul probably plays those 120 minutes. In my opinion, we saw him get substituted out, and we're going to need him in the semifinals. How do you think Paredes did in midfield, Osvaldo, when he came in? Because I'm seeing a lot of mixed reaction when it comes to him.
Yeah. No, I think in this World Cup he has been improving a lot since the first couple of matches we were not good. But today he played well. Of course, as you were saying, he seemed not to be fit because that's why they took him out in the second half. But I think overall he played well. He tried to play simple. I think some of the mistakes he did in the beginning of this World Cup was trying to do too much, and not playing simple. And because always in defense, he always runs a lot. He always get a lot of get the ball back a lot of times during matches. That he never lost that. But
Yeah.
he was not confident too much with the ball, and he tried to do, or he tried to gain that confidence back by doing, just dribbling and trying to pass in defenders. And I think now he's playing a little bit more simple, and he gained that confidence back by by playing simple. I think he played well today.
yeah. Today, I think for the Paul, it was all about the pride, his pride for the shirt. It was if this was a regular season, like La Liga game or a group stage game, I think he wouldn't have played because he was not 100% fit to play. He was receiving treatment. He spoke after the game. He was crying. He said, "My teammates, all my teammates know what I've been through, what I had to endure, all the treatment that I was taking even after midnight, and I played tonight because of the love of the shirt." And when people, a lot of people are saying, there are memes about it and everything, but people saying that players are only there for the money, they only care about buying expensive cars, getting millions and millions into their bank accounts. I can assure you, this is not the case. These guys are playing for their neighborhoods. They're playing for their families. They're playing for their childhood dreams, and they're also playing for their idol, their hero, Lionel Messi. And you can tell that's the main asset this team has, and that's the difference between this team and so many other teams, but also this team and previous versions of this team. We have something different that we didn't have before, and today I think uh, Rodrigo de Paul epitomized that because in any other circumstances he wouldn't have played, and I was surprised to see him play that for that long
Yeah.
and at the level and intensity that he played. So I hope he can make it again. He can play on Tuesday with a bit more treatment. I hope, sorry. I hope he didn't injure um, that
Make it
area
work.
that he was hurting, and he didn't make it worse. But I think it was a good administration of the resources today by the national team, but the coaching staff, because Di Maria wasn't ready to play a lot of minutes today, and I think it was a good introduction late in the game, deep in extra time, replacing a defender with him, giving us a bit of an X factor aspect to the game. I felt it was a good introduction. He played a good role, and he almost scores directly from a corner kick for the second
He,
time in this World
he
Cup. He's gonna
tried
get
that.
one. He's gonna get yeah. He has to get one because so far both keepers have saved incredible shots. First Chesney against Poland, and today Coopers.
I think
Um,
he's a big
but he
goalkeeper. I think
was
he's 6'8" or
yeah,
something. It's pretty tall.
yeah. That's 2 meters, 2 meters and 2 centimeters. That's the
Yeah.
tallest player in the World Cup. So.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, it was a good shot. And we were unlucky. I want to mention a little bit about Enzo Fernandez, another great
Yeah.
game. He played two different positions. He was the deep line center midfielder, and then when the Paul was replaced and Paredes was introduced, he played farther up the pitch, and he could have scored 2 goals. He was unlucky to miss that penalty. I hope his morale doesn't come
No.
um, he
He's
doesn't
fearless.
decrease.
He's
But
fearless.
yeah, he was amazing. He was amazing in possession. He was unlucky for the second goal because I think he had that position covered, but it wasn't too
It was a
deep.
clever
But
free
he
kick. It
was
was a
in that
clever free
position,
kick.
and yeah, yeah. And then on extra time, he puts a block inside the box, very
Uh,
timely, and it was a difficult move. So it was a great game from him today. And every time I speak about Enzo Fernandez, Julian Alvarez also comes to mind because they're buddies. They play together. They're the
that
young
river.
exponents of this generation. And I wanted to mention briefly that I feel the role that he was asked to play today uh, didn't help him that much. He got tired, or I don't know if he got tired, but he was running all the time. He was
He ran.
playing more a defensive role. But I didn't feel he had a good game today. I felt he was very imprecise with the ball. He lost
He,
possession so many times. He couldn't get anything going. Um, and it wasn't a good game from him, but we know what he's capable of, and I'm sure he can bounce back.
yeah. No, I don't doubt it. Osvaldo, what do you think of Enzo Fernandez and his performance?
Yeah, I think he's very constant. He always passes the ball well to his teammates. Of course, yeah, today he missed that penalty, but overall he did well. Also, in the second goal of the Netherlands, as you were saying, he went well to the floor, to the ground to try to block that shot. And just for a couple of centimeters, he couldn't. But I also think he did well because we'll always talk of Enzo Fernandez and how well he does when he has the ball. Because he does it really well. But also today playing most of the time as a center midfielder, uh, as a defensive center midfielder, think he also plays very smart in defense. He knows where to
Yes.
where to position himself when Argentina doesn't have the ball, when they have the ball, and he's very young, so he plays like an experienced player, and he really is not that experienced at all.
No, he's not. He's anything but experienced, but he
Yeah,
plays as if he's experienced.
Yeah,
That's the thing about him, and someone else that we haven't actually mentioned at all, Alexis McAllister. If you want to talk about consistency,
Oh my God.
I thought he played a great game today. Great
Yeah,
game,
he was
Seba.
everywhere. He was everywhere. Yeah, very, very solid. He's having a great World Cup overall. Um, and that is a very, very good news for us because we remember we lost Lo Celso just a few days before the World Cup, and there was a big, big question mark on who will replace him. Who do we have to play that position or that role, or to do the mixed job that Lo Celso does? He does a lot defensively. He's very, very quiet at that. And then McAllister, I feel, is like a very low profile as well.
Yeah,
He's got a couple of great interventions in this World Cup. A pass to Otamendi to open the game against Australia. Of course, his goal against Poland. But he's been playing great. He's one of the best news for Argentina in this World Cup. He was tireless today. Very, very important. Did a lot for the team. So I'm really, really happy to see him in the team. He could have taken a penalty as well.
yeah.
Later on, I don't know. Was he replaced? No, he was still on the pitch.
No,
So
he was on the pitch. Yeah,
yeah. So it's all about the squad. We've been talking about it before the World Cup even started, and I'm happy to see these coming to fruition because um, we need this. We need this kind of
um,
excitement and joy, and we needed to play 7 games again in this World Cup.
and we
We
are.
deserve it.
Argentina will
We
play
really
seven
do.
games, no matter what. No matter
Yeah.
what, Argentina will play 7 games at this World Cup. Osvaldo, I know you're a fan of Alexis McAllister
Yeah,
for reasons maybe not everybody knows, but big Boca fan. Uh, what did you? How did you think he played?
yeah, but not only because I'm a Boca fan and he played in Boca, and I think he did really well.
Yeah,
We missed when he went to Brighton, when he went back to Brighton, but also, um, as I was saying to you right before the live, I think he's very consistent, and maybe we already have players like Messi that are just brilliant, and Alvarez that also he can run and run, but uh, maybe we needed a guy that like this that can do everything and he does it well at a consistent level,
yeah,
um, because I, um, I think we're not missing that much Lo Celso, uh, mainly also because of the collective game. I think we can replace him by playing better in a collective way. And McAllister occupies the role very well. He it's not that he doesn't do messy things, of course, because it's so difficult to do messy things, but he does everything well. He's not gonna lose the ball, or when he gets the ball it gives me the feeling that he's not gonna
not gonna lose
grind
it.
to somebody to an opponent, and that's very, very good for if you're a teammate of him. I think today he played well again, as he did uh, in all the last matches.
Yeah. No, I thought he played a brilliant, brilliant game. I thought he played a very, very good game. Um, so I'm just getting a message from Seba. He's looks like we lost Seba. He's gonna try something really quick. But going back to McAllister, and I agree. Whenever he gets the ball, you don't really think like he's gonna give the ball away or he's not gonna lose it cheaply. There were a couple of tackles he put in today, a lot of standing tackles. He fought hard. He defended deep. He brought the ball forward, specifically in the first half, the first half rather than the second. I thought he has been the unsung hero of this team. We talk about Enzo Fernandez, and absolutely, and he deserves every praise that he gets. And we talk about Rodrigo de Paul, but McAllister has been flying under the radar so much because he does everything very well. There's nothing he's not good at. And whenever you have someone like him, and just like Seba, and talking about Seba, we just got him back. This is all about the squad. This is a World Cup for Argentina where it's the squad. Do we rely on Messi? Yes, we do. And I think anything that has Messi would rely on him. But he opened the scoring against Poland. He played well against Australia. Played well against today. So I'm very, very happy with that midfield.
Yeah, all the lights go, of course, to Messi today, to Dibu Martinez.
Absolutely, of
Uh,
course.
because they are the ones that scored. Di Martinez, the one that saved all the penalties. But McAllister has been constant the whole tournament.
Yeah, he has been. He's been very, very consistent. Seba, glad to have you back. I think you're still
Oh
here.
yeah, no, connection is terrible. Connection is terrible here. There's been a
it's all
big
good.
storm. I don't know if that's affecting
It's a
communications.
storm.
I
It's a
moved to
storm.
another
It's
room.
people rewatching the game. It's the storm, and it's people rewatching the highlights of the game on YouTube. No, well, we've been going on literally for 1 hour. Final thoughts, Osvaldo. So Osvaldo, you're not going to be with us on Tuesday, or can we set that up on Tuesday, or how's that going to work? Because you're not going to be in the country.
Yeah, so I'm flying to Argentina tomorrow at 6 a.m. from Florida. So I will live the World Cup semi-final and hopefully final there. So yeah.
We're not going to have you on next time on Tuesday. It's going to be difficult.
It might be difficult. Seba can tell it better. Maybe the Wi-Fi in Argentina depends on where I am. It's not that good, but I will let you know.
All good. We'll talk and we'll try to set it up if you can make it. Seba, I think Seba is frozen in time here. There you go, Seba. Oh, and we lost Seba. And to Calvin's comment here, he absolutely is. He's messing with with Seba's internet. I want to thank everybody for joining. At one point, we reached over 500 people. Live in the stream, and that's incredible. We haven't had that. I don't know if that's the highest we've had in a while, but we haven't had that in a while. I just want to thank everybody for joining us. Osvaldo, I want to thank you. I don't know if you're going to be back on Tuesday. Obviously, you're more than welcome. If you are, great. Not, enjoy Argentina. We lost Seba. I think officially we lost Seba, but I want to say thank you to Seba as well. Argentina are in the semi-finals of the World Cup for the second time in 3 editions. It's crazy to say Argentina is going to play 7 matches at the World Cup. So, fingers crossed. We'll see what gives on Tuesday, everybody.
And no Brazil. That's good.
No Brazil in the semi-finals, right? All the talk was it's going to be Argentina, Brazil, probably in the semi-finals. Well, we held up our end, right? We made the semi-finals. Brazil didn't, and that's no disrespect to Croatia by any means. Obviously not. We're just, we're just joking around. It's the friendly rivalry, but no Brazil in the semifinals. Instead, it's Argentina versus Croatia on Tuesday, and we're gonna have a live stream as well for that. Remains to be seen if we're gonna have Osvaldo with us or not. But either way, thank you everybody for joining us. Osvaldo, I cannot thank you enough. And Seba as well, although we just kind of lost him, but a big thank you to Seba for joining. And if you guys haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notifications button to be the first person notified as soon as a new video drops. Once more, everybody, my name is Roy Nemmer of Mundo Albiceleste.com. I was joined by Osvaldo and by Seba, although he's having some internet problems. So until next time, everybody, take care. Bye, everyone.